Hey everyone, I'm super excited to be back in a sense and share this information with y'all. Today we're talking about moon aspecting Venus. I haven't done an aspect video in a while, and that's because we're coming out of winter, as you can tell by the natural lighting in my room. We're coming out of winter. This week is the spring equinox, so I'm feeling all this energy. We about to jump into Aries season, and I have like my 10th house is in Aries, Mercury, Mars is in Aries, all these wonderful things. So I feel that ambitious energy. I feel the motivation. I feel the drive. So we here. Moon aspecting Venus. We're talking about the conjunction, sextile, trine, the opposition, and the square. So this video, I feel like I couldn't necessarily really separate the harmonious aspects from the dissonant aspects, because I feel like a lot of the things that fall under moon aspecting Venus or characterizing an individual who has this aspect in their natal chart can apply to somebody who may have a conjunction, as well as somebody who has a square with this aspect. So getting right into the information. Y'all like my new notebook? Never stop growing, period. All right, moon aspects to Venus. This aspect denotes a highly creative individual. This individual has rich feminine qualities, whether they are male or female, whether they identify as male or female. They have rich feminine qualities. And what this means is that this individual is deeply intuitive and nurturing. They're attuned to the natural flow of life cycles as well as nature's cycles. The moon changes signs every 2 to 3 days. So while some people may say people with this people with this aspect may be a little bit moody or emotionally turbulent, once we start to understand the natural cycle of the moon and that feelings are fleeting, it'd be easier to understand an individual with this aspect or any strong moon or lunar aspects in their chart. Like I have a Cancer rising, so I might be feeling everything intensely and deeply one day, and the next day the energy shifts, and that's the natural ebb and flow of life. So an individual with the aspect of any aspect between moon and Venus in their natal chart is very attuned to this. This individual has an emotional need for benevolent relationships. That means that what they're ultimately striving for is to have positive relationships in their life. Depending on the aspect and the relationship with their mother, this may be difficult for them to attain. Moon aspects to Venus can denote an individual who is a skilled artist. So some professions that may fall under this category relate to being a painter or a musician. They may be an excellent chef or cook. This person strives to nurture other people. They may find themselves in professions related to beauty and skincare, as well as social work. So this person may own a foster home. They may foster children or adopt children because they have an innate need to nurture and take care of other people. This individual will do well in careers related to interior design, counseling, marriage and family therapy. That is just like A1 for this kind of individual, especially if they have Scorpio placements. And of course, if we're talking about metaphysics or esoteric lifestyle, this individual will do extremely well in holistic healing, maybe curating plant-based diets for other people or teaching other people how to eat healthy. They would do well with Reiki or energy work, because the moon means soma. Soma means the body. So the moon is very connected to the body. So this person would do well with energy work, with Reiki, with aligning or shifting different energies in their body and other people's bodies as well. Something that may pique their interest is Tantra, as well as Reiki, and I'm trying to think what else may fall into this category. We can definitely throw yoga in there as well. So for our harmonious aspects, right? Again, like I said, this could apply to anybody with an aspect between moon and Venus. This can describe an individual with a strong matrilineal lineage, a very powerful and intuitive as well as highly creative matrilineal lineage. This means that the women in your family are highly creative. They're very intuitive. They know how to use their gifts and their feminine qualities to better themselves, to create a lasting foundation for their family. This could be like, you ever see those videos where the mom's 90 and she's fine, or the grandmother is like 90 years old and she's fine, and the mom's like 50s, 40s and she's fine. Then you got the little sister, then the aunt, and just strong, beautiful women in the family. This can also denote positive business relationships with women as well. The habits that this person finds themselves in or creates for their lifestyle are habits that are centered around making themselves and the world more beautiful. Healthy relationships, they have very healthy, I'm trying to like read, I kind of wrote in bullet point style, but this individual may have a healthy relationship with their emotional world. So they may be very intimately connected with their emotions, and they can display this through their creative abilities. But again, somebody who has maybe the square or the opposition between Moon and Venus may be someone who represses their emotions. However, you can repress your emotions and still have strong and very beautiful creative abilities. It's just how this aspect is playing out in your lifetime, or how you're choosing to heal and get connected to your emotional world. I also wrote that Moon aspecting Venus can, while on, I guess, the harmonious side, we're seeing a beautiful, positive, highly creative matrilineal family. On the more dissonant side, what we'd notice is generational trauma, womb trauma. This can relate to sexual abuse, emotional abuse, as it relates to the matrilineal lineage, your maternal lineage. This individual may hold these characteristics or come into contact and relationships with women who are needy, manipulative, emotionally manipulative especially. They may constantly play the martyr and or the victim, constantly relying on others. This individual is not strong enough to stand on their own. Think wounded feminine. So if we're looking at the qualities of yin and yang, if we're looking at the qualities of feminine and masculine energies, the wounded feminine would be somebody who is weak, because with too much feminine energy, you don't have that masculine willpower and drive to take action and to go after what you want in life. So you may be somebody who constantly relies on others. You may be constantly relying on the masculine in your life, or find yourself in relationships with masculine to help you create this inner drive or this inner force that's going to help you to take more action. Because feminine energy is very passive. It's very go with the flow. It's very much about surrender and just allowing things to happen. And with the wounded feminine, what we're seeing is somebody who takes these natural qualities about themselves and plays the victim or plays the martyr. They take these attributes about themselves and they use it as a reason for them to suffer, instead of as a reason why they should transform and evolve and take power over the negative things that's happened to them. I wanted to touch again on generational trauma and wound trauma related to the maternal lineage, because oftentimes what we see is grandmother or mother was sexually abused, and this happens to daughter or this happens to granddaughter, and nobody in the family talks about it. It's something that's very kept on the hush hush. They're silent about the things that are happened to them. So when it starts to replay itself in their children or their children's children, there's always this like, how could this happen? Or I didn't know, but what we have to do first and foremost is to communicate about these things. Even if I know it's hard, it's not easy, but even just telling the story to your daughter and speaking about it to somebody that you trust can help break that cycle. Ultimately, what we have to look at when we're talking about Moon aspecting Venus is the relationship with the mother. That is very important. The moon rules early childhood. It rules your psychological foundation. It rules your private life, what happens in the home. So we have to address the things that have taken place in those formative years before you could really go out into the world, before you reach that fifth house place of creating hobbies and having leisure time and spending time with friends. We're still in the fourth house when we're talking about the moon. So we have to understand what has taken place in relation to this individual and their mother, or the mother and the grandmother, and we can go as far back down the maternal lineage as we want to. Does this individual have the capacity to nurture and nourish themselves in healthy ways? Right? I have to emphasize healthy because we may find that drinking alcohol in excess is a way that we nurture or nourish ourselves, but is that truly the best thing for us? And with moon placements or strong water placements, we do have to be careful of alcohol, because alcohol is water, it's a liquid, and the moon holds, the water stores energy. So if you find yourself dealing with maybe PCOS or endometriosis or any womb trauma, we have to start to look at our relationship to alcohol. We have to look at our memories, the things that we're holding in our bodies, the emotions that we're holding and storing in our bodies, and that we're not allowing to flow, that we're not allowing to release. And yeah, I relate alcohol to some of these illnesses because alcohol has a lot of sugar and it's very bad for our womb, for whoever's watching and cares that much. Does this individual have the capacity to nurture and nourish themselves in healthy ways? What is your self-care routine? How do you show your self-love? Were they taught how to nurture and nourish themselves? Were they nurtured by the woman in their lives during early childhood? So an individual with this aspect may need to look to reparenting their mother wound if they were not nurtured or nourished by the woman in their family or by their mother. If their mother may not have, was the mother present, or was the mother figure, maybe an aunt, maybe a grandmother, was there a mother figure present in your life that taught you how to nurture and nourish yourself? If not, then you would have to look at reparenting yourself and healing the mother wound, healing the wounded feminine. Yes, and becoming aware if you have an adverse relationship to alcohol, just becoming aware of that. Becoming aware of the foods that you eat, because moon ultimately is, again, how we nurture and nourish ourselves. So all of this can play into how you perceive yourself. With moon meaning soma, which also means body, with the dissonant aspects, an individual with dissonant aspects between moon and Venus may deal with body dysmorphia. So they may not like how they look, or they may be overly obsessed with trying to make themselves beautiful. So we have to start to understand our issues with self-esteem and self-confidence, self-worth when it comes to this aspect as well. I'm not going to keep talking because my excitement has me like kind of stumbling over my words, but I truly enjoyed making this video. I hope that you learned something. Please like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you would like to see next. Comment if this video has helped you or piqued your interest or made you think about things in a new way. All right, peace.